Why are PC gaming feet per second guides often wrong? Have you ever followed a guide to boost your frames per second, only to find it didn't work as expected? You are not alone. Many gamers face this issue, and it often comes down to a few key reasons. First, frames per second is not just a simple number. It measures how many images your computer can produce in 1 second, which directly impacts how smooth a game feels. However, the optimal frames per second can vary based on several factors, including your monitor's refresh rate and the type of game you are playing. Many guides suggest a target of 60 frames per second for smooth gameplay. But if you have a 144 Hz monitor, you may want to aim for a higher frames per second to take full advantage of your display. This is where many guides fall short. They often provide blanket recommendations that do not consider the unique setup of your computer. Another reason these guides can be misleading is that they may rely on outdated information. Video games and graphics drivers receive updates frequently. A guide that worked well last year might not apply to the latest version of a game or driver. This can lead to settings that either do not improve performance or even create issues like stuttering or input lag. Additionally, many guides focus solely on in-game settings. They often ignore the impact of your operating system and background applications. Windows settings can consume resources and affect your frames per second. If you have unnecessary programs running in the background, they can significantly reduce your gaming performance. Sync technologies like vertical synchronization, G-Sync, and FreeSync can also complicate the situation. Some guides may suggest disabling these features without explaining the potential downsides, which can lead to screen tearing or increased input lag. Overclocking your hardware is another area where guides can mislead. While some may recommend overclocking for better performance, they often do not consider the stability and heat management of your system. This can lead to inconsistent frames per second and potential damage to your components. Lastly, input settings and peripherals can play a role in your gaming experience. Factors like mouse polling rate and USB interference can affect how smooth your gameplay feels, yet these topics are rarely covered in feet per second guides. To truly find the optimal frames per second for your gaming setup, consider these steps. First, match your frames per second target to your monitor's refresh rate. Next, make sure to keep all drivers and game patches updated. Adjust your operating system settings to prioritize performance and disable any unnecessary background applications. Using your graphics processing unit control panel settings can also help balance power and quality. If you continue to experience bottlenecks, consider hardware upgrades. Finally, test any changes you make incrementally to see their impact on your frames per second and overall stability. In short, the reason many PC gaming frames per second guides can be misleading is that they do not account for the unique aspects of each gaming setup. A personalized approach that considers your hardware, software, and personal preferences is essential for achieving the best gaming performance.